Hi guys, welcome back to Java Interview Buddy. Recently, one of our subscriber Ashwin attended an interview at KPMG. So he shared all the details with us. So there were majorly three rounds, and unfortunately, he did not clear the interview. But the good part is he shared all the questions with us. And trust me, guys, these questions will help you to prepare better if you are facing any interview in KPMG in recent days. So I will go through each question one by one and also explain the answer as well. If you also gave any interview recently in any of the company, you can share your interview questions with us. And to clear any interview within a week, you can get your copy of interview preparation kit from the description box. Now the first question he faced was, can you explain your recent project and what are the roles and responsibilities you have in your recent project? So basically this is a general question. Many of the interviews start with this question, and this answer is very candidate specific. Like every candidate has their own answer for this question, but if I need to give a sample answer to you, I would say something like this. So I will take an example of e-commerce app, and I would say that my recent project was a e-commerce app. So it is used to handle the user login, product list, orders and payments. And the tech stack we are using is Spring Boot, Kafka, or Spring Data JPA, EC2 instances, or AWS. And my roles and responsibility was building a REST API for the user, product and order service. Then I used to connect the services using Kafka. I used to send and receive the messages using publisher and consumer. Then I used to create data models for database tables, and then I used to add the logs for the tracing of data flow. So there are multiple things. Like I used to also involve in the deployment of the application, so I used to write the deployment script for the application. So there are many such things you can tell in your answer. And then we quickly move to our next question. So next the interviewer gave a small coding question, which was find the highest paid employee using Stream API. So this is a question you have to solve using Stream API. So I will quickly share my screen and explain how you can solve this. So we have this question, find the highest paid employee using Streams API. Now to solve this, first I will quickly create a employee class. I will name this employee, and then inside employee I will say I will give two fields, name and salary. Okay, and rest I will create a constructor, a parameterized constructor, and then I will create some getter methods. Then I will create a toString method. Alright. Now in our main class, we need to find the highest paid employee using stream. So first I will create a list which is having few employees. So I will create a list here, which is a type of employee. We already created an employee class. I will name this class as employees, and then array list arrays dot as list, and then here I will pass some employees. So I will create new objects of employees by passing values like name is equal to first Amit and salary 50k. The new employee, I will create two more employees. I will add two more employees. Employee name Kiran. All right. So I have created four employees, and then I will add few more values. Like for example, I will add one null. It is just for testing the null. And then I will add one more value, one more employee, and inside that I'll put salary as null. So this is just to testing, and this is just to explain you something. All right, stay with me. I will come to this. So I have created a list of employees which has different employee. Now I have to find the highest paid employees between these. And for that purpose, I will first, what I will do, I will convert this employees into a stream. That's it. That's our first step. Then we will filter out based on the values are null or not. Because see, we don't want to compare null values, and we don't want to get a null pointer exception. So this step is just for that. So I will pass a lambda e, and e should be not equal to null, and e dot get salary, and it should be also not equal to null. So as you can understand that this step is just to verify there should be no null value to compare. That's it. Then to find the highest paid employee, I will use a function called max. Now this max accepts comparator. So we will create a comparator as well. And our comparator will be, we want to compare based on the salaries. Alright. So we will write a comparator something like this. E1 comma e2 lambda e1 dot get salary dot compare to e2 dot get salary. Alright, so this is our comparator which compares two employees based on the salary, and then Max will return the employee with the highest salary. And finally, and I will call this highest paid. So as you can see, this is an optional object, and to get this value from this list, what I will do right here, I will use or else null, and now it will return a employee object instead of a optional. So I will remove the optional from here. So as you can see, the error is also gone. So now it is returning the employee object. This represents, like, if the list is empty or everyone gets filtered out, it will return null instead of throwing an exception. And you can guess what type of exception it will throw. You can write down that in the comment section as well. If we don't use this, what type of exception it will throw, please write down in the comment. Now instead of this passing the comparator, I will also tell you a cleaner version to write this code. So what I will do, instead of writing this max function like this, I will comment it out and write a max function, and inside that I will pass a comparator. So I will do comparator dot comparing, and inside the comparing I will pass a function. The function is employee method reference get salary. So this is a cleaner version. You can use this as well to impress the interviewer. This is cleaner because comparator.comparing is the recommended functional style. In the interview, don't over explain. Just say that I filter out invalidate records first using the filter function, and then I will use max function using the salary comparator. This is very direct, logical, and interview friendly. So let me just run this program so that I can show you the output. Okay, I'm not printing anything. So I will print highest paid employee dot get salary. I will print the name, sorry, the salary, or instead of that I will print the name. So here from this list, the highest paid employee is Kiran. So technically it should print Kiran. Let's see. Okay, it is printing Neha. Why? Oh, sorry, the highest paid employee is Neha, 90,000. Okay. So this is how you solve this problem. Then now we have another coding question, which is reverse a string without inbuilt reverse method. So I will explain this using the IDE. I will quickly share my screen. Our next question is reverse a string without using inbuilt reverse method. So guys, this is very important question. So as you know that string have a reverse method. Now to solve this problem, first I will create a string. I will call it st and I will give something like Ashwin. Alright, and then I convert this string into a character array. So for that purpose I will create a character array. I will call this array A, and I will convert this string into a character array using toChar array method. That's it. Then I will create a empty string where we will push the result. So this is our empty string. And then finally, because we can't use the inbuilt reverse method, so instead of that we will use a for loop. Inside for loop, I will run this loop from the length -1 of this character array till 0, and then I will do I. So simply we are reverse transversing it. So if the length of this string is 6, we are running this loop from 5, because yeah, first index will be 0, so this is the fifth index. So we are transversing it from that side, and then we will pick first element and put it inside this array. Then we will take second last element, put it inside the result. So I will do that way. So inside this for loop, I will say result is equal to result plus array index of I, and finally I will print this result, and then I will run this program. So as you can see, the output is a reverse string, and here we are not using inbuilt reverse method, we are using a for loop. Alright, so I hope you got the idea and you understood the problem. What is the purpose of serial version UID? So do you know what is serial version UID? You may have seen this in many of the Pojo classes as a first statement. Basically, we are defining a constant. We are defining a constant in that Pojo class. Then question comes that what is the use of defining a constant in that Pojo class? The answer is it is an ID that helps Java to check classes compatibility during the deserialization. So if the value mismatches during the deserialization fails, and it immediately throw an exception called invalid class exception, and the object will not load. So we keep serial version UID a constant to avoid that failure. Now We have our next question, which is what is JIT compiler? Now to answer this, you can say that JIT compiler is a part of JVM. So it basically converts bytecode into machine code at runtime, and it also makes the code run faster. So it does not compile everything at once. It compiles only the code that is used very often. What are generics? This is again a very simple question. You can answer it something like this. A generic were introduced to provide type safety. They make sure we only store one type of object in a collection. They also help us to avoid typecasting errors at runtime. So we use angle bracket, something like you can see on the screen, angle bracket string or angle bracket integer, to define generics. So this makes our code cleaner and safer. Now our next question is, which is what is the difference between extending a thread and implementing runnable method, and which one did you use and why? Now to answer this, you can say that extending thread means your class become a thread, and implementing runnable means your class can share other parents as well. So the key difference here is Java allow only one parent class, right? While using the runnable, you can implement multiple interfaces. So using the runnable will give you a good advantages here. So you can say that in my project we used runnable because we already had another parent class. So that's why we have to use runnable, and that's why runnable was the better choice. Now let's move to our next question, which is, and after that there was a question related to Java 8 features. How do you handle null pointers? So basically you can answer that to handle null pointers or to handle null pointer exception, null crashes, basically we use optional class. So while using optional class, instead of returning null crashes, it will provide an optional object, and from that object you can use multiple methods to get the values or do some operations like check the value if the value is present or not. So there are is present or else get methods available in the optional class which you can use. So this is basically make your code more stable. Then we have a question which is what are JVM memory area? So basically there are multiple JVM areas are available. One is heap and stack. So heap stores object and stack stores method calls. Then there are other areas as well, like PC register, method area, and native area. So native area is used to store native code, and PC register is used to store next instruction. Then I forgot about method area, which is used to store class data. So every area has its own specific use cases. Then there is a question called what are the advantages of Spring Boot? So there are multiple advantages of using Spring Boot. It is easy to start. It will give ready-made dependencies. Using starter package, it will give you embedded server like Tomcat, and it also reduce manual configuration, and it also supports fast deployment. Like you get a deployable application where you just need to write the business logic and it is ready to deploy as well. It is used for the rapid application development. You don't need to worry about the configuration and any such details which we need to write in while using Spring. If you are using Spring Boot, then you don't need to write on many configuration boilerplate details. You just focus on the business. So as a follow-up question, they also asked like, does Spring Boot use external configuration? So yes, we can use external configuration using application properties and any environment variable. Like you set the system environment variable or your user specific environment variables on your system, and then you can use it. So that was it from this video. The interview was very short because Ashwin didn't clear that, and that's why it is over before time. So I hope these questions will help you a lot, and if you like this video, subscribe to the channel and please continue sharing the interview questions. If you face any interview recently, or if you want to speed up your interview preparation, you can get the interview preparation kit from the description box. And thanks a lot Ashwin for sharing these real questions, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.